All right, so we're going to start with slide number 1. And what you need to do is manipulate this little point right here to create something that would be 2 times 3. What would represent 2 times 3? And the activity will let you know when you get it right. Go ahead and do that. And once it says, yeah, you're right, then you can move on to the next slide. All right, cool. All right, so now on slide 2, this is just telling you what we're getting ready to do. We're going to learn how to use these algebra tiles to show multiplication. So we can go ahead and move to slide 3. Okay. So this is pretty cool how Desmos will do this for us. It arranges everything for us. All we have to do is change the factors, the number, the binomial on the top and the binomial on the side. So here is an example of showing visually what the answer would be if you were to multiply x plus 2 times 2x plus 2. So x values in this activity are going to be green, okay? And they are a long, skinny rectangle. Units, like the plus 2 part, those are going to be like this orangey color. And then if you have more than one x value, you're going to put 2, like in this case, it's 2x. You're going to put 2 of these long bars. And then it was 2x plus 2, so another 2 little orange bars. When you put them along the side, Desmos is going to fill in with what the answer would be. And so the reason that this one is blue is because this turns into a square that is x times x. Last week we learned that x times x is x squared. So these big blue squares represent x squared. So they're not just like plain old x's, that's the green ones. These blue ones are x squared terms. So what you do is you just look at what's inside, okay? And so today we're going to learn where the question part is in the picture. So the question part is along the outside. So you have, see how you have these black lines right here and right here? So the outside of the black lines is this x plus 2, and this, the 2x plus 2. That's the outside. That represents the question. What is that? Like when you multiply those two together, that's what that represents. The inside represents the answer. So on some of the slides, you're going to be asked to circle where the answer is. You're going to circle this region in here. So the answer is 2x squared. So 2 of these big blue ones, and then plus 6x. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 green tiles. Remember, we're only counting the ones on the inside. So 6 green, and then plus 4. That means you have 4 little unit tiles down here. So your answer ends up being 2x squared plus 6x plus 4. And we would have got that answer like last week if you did the box method or if you did the distributive property. You would have got 2x squared plus 6x plus 4. We would get the same thing. This is just a nice like visual representation, okay? Okay, let's move on to slide 4. Now we get to practice. So we're just going to start out with some numbers, and then we'll work our way up into the actual binomials, okay? So try building 2 times 4. So This slider up here controls your units along the top, and the slider along the bottom is the ones on the side. Good, good, yeah. Okay, now, if you move your slider to the left, that's gonna make negative numbers for you, okay? So since we have +2 times +4, we need to move to the right 2, and then along the side, we need +4. So move to 4. And it should say, yay, you did it, okay? Make sure that you're using positive numbers because that's what they gave us. So inside here, these little teeny tiny unit squares inside, that represents your answer. And there should be 8 of them, right? Because we know 2 times 4 has to be 8. So if you count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you're good, okay? All righty, let's move on to the next slide. And it just kind of gives us the answer. So we need to circle where we see the answer. So go ahead, you can pick whatever color you want. You know which one I'm going to pick. And the answer is right here. That doesn't show up very well. I wish I could like make that a little bit. Huh. I wonder if I can. I guess that's good enough. So go ahead, circle the answer in slide 5. All right, cool. Once you're ready, go ahead and move to slide 6. Okay, so this is going over what I described to you a couple slides ago. It gives you a nice like key. So these big blue squares, those are x squared. Notice you have 2 of them. These long green ones are just plain old x's. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. And then the little orange squares, the little ones, those are the units. So 4, okay? So this is, I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to do. Yeah, there we go. So that's a x squared. This is a x squared. And then this is x, x, x. Be nice if this was a touchpad, but that's okay. 1, 1, 1, 1, like that, okay? So 2x squared plus 6x plus 4. All righty. And go ahead and move to slide 7. Okay, so we're definitely like analyzing this very closely to make sure you see exactly where everything comes from. So now we're asked to actually type our answer. And so you have 2 of the big x squareds. So in the box, you would type 2x, and then to get the squared, it's shift and number 6. Plus, you have the 6 x's. I'll just show you where they're coming from. Kind of looks like a Y, doesn't it? There we go. Like that. So you would type 6x, and then we had these 4 little ones right there, so we would type plus 4. Perfect. And share it with you. I'll share mine. And move to slide 8. Okay, finally, on to like a different problem, some variety, something for you to show off how well you understand this. So we're asked what expression represents the inside of the shape. So we are looking at in here. That's the inside. Go ahead and type your answer and share it with the class. If it helps, you can label them first. You don't have to. When you do your homework tonight, you're going to need to combine like terms with these algebra tiles, so it might help to label them. Remember, the green ones are X's. There's a lot of them this time. And then all these little ones down here. All right, so looks good, everybody. Y'all have the same thing, which is correct. So 4x squared, because you have 4 of those blue ones, plus 10x plus 6. So you might really prefer this. Like if you had this Desmos, wouldn't this be like probably a whole lot easier to do multiplication if you always had this activity, right? A whole lot easier than having to combine like terms. It's very colorful and easy to see what all the terms would be. Okay, let's go ahead. Now we're going to learn how to set up the outside of the shape. So go ahead to slide 10. And go ahead and make the sliders all different kinds of things, like experiment with what it would look like when you have negative numbers and that kind of stuff, okay? Type one thing that you notice happens, and then type one thing that you're wondering about that maybe doesn't seem like it makes sense or you might have a question about. Type one thing that you notice and type one thing that you're wondering about. It's not going to get that much harder, I promise. You guys have already done the hard part because I made you do all of the math by hand last week. So this is, you're actually on the downward slope now. So maybe one thing that you noticed, I'm reading like what that the top is the first binomial and the side represents the second binomial that we are multiplying. And I'm wondering, what's the answer going to look like when we have negative terms? What's going to happen there? When you're all set with that, go ahead to slide 11. And there's no right or wrong answer with this current slide, slide 10. It's just, what do you notice and what are you wondering about? That's all. All right, slide 11. So now we are going to represent 2 times x plus 1. So the 2 goes along the top. Okay, so that's all we're worrying about right now, just making the 2. So along the top, we don't need any x's along the top. We just need a 2 on the top. So we're going to go to the units slider and we're going to slide it over to 2. Okay, we don't have to do the entire problem, just the 2 on the top. Once you have that and it says yes, go to the next screen. Okay, now we're going to do the second term, which is the x plus 1. That goes on the side. So we need to make x plus 1 on the side. It has an x, so you go to the x slider, slide it over 1. And we go to the units slider, which goes also over 1. Okay. All right. So far, so good. Let me know if you have a question. Okay. You can push that little button. It's going to do an animation for you. Because remember, x, if x is a variable, it could be anything. Like it can be any number. So if it's really big, it's going to make the green rectangle really long if x is a big number. And if x is a tiny number, it's going to make that rectangle shrink way down. So that's what they're showing in this slide. All righty. Once you have that, move on to slide 13. All right, so now we have it set up. We need to write the answer in the box. So remember where the answer is. The answer is just in the inside. That's where your answer is. So inside we have 2 green and 2 little orange units. Go ahead and type what you think the answer would be and share with everybody. Good, perfect. 2x plus 2 is correct. So the 2x comes from the 2 green tiles and the plus 2 comes from the little orange unit tiles. Perfect. Let's go on to slide 14. Now you do this one on your own. You are going to represent x times x plus 2. All right, we're getting there. X, so we need an X on the top. That would represent this. And then on the side, we need an X. And we also need a plus 2 on the side. So plus 2. And if you want to see it like animated, as the X values get really big, your X squared term will get really big and your other terms too. And as it gets smaller, they get smaller. All right, let's go to slide 15. So that was our picture. So the picture shows that the answer to x times x plus 2 is what? Go ahead and type what the answer would be to x times x plus 2. Remember that your answer is only these terms on the inside. Nice, good. So 1x squared or x squared, because you have one blue, right? And then plus 2 green ones would be plus 2x. Plus, we already know from last week when we did the distributive property, x times x is x squared and x times 2 is 2x. Perfect. Go ahead and move to the next slide. And now it's getting a little bit more interesting. So what question is shown in this picture? So I want to know, what are we multiplying by? That's what you need to put in the first box. What are we multiplying by? Remember, the two binomials are represented by the top and the side of the box. So the top, along the top, and along the side. Go ahead and type your answer for that. What's along the top and what's along the side? So I see along the top, oh, I wish I had my pen, but I don't. Along the top is this. So it would be 1x plus 3, or if you just wanted to write x plus 3, that's fine, right? And then along the side is 1x plus 1. So now on the inside, that represents the answer. Go ahead and type what the answer would need to be. And it looks good. I think I have almost everybody. So remember, the blue is x squared. So we have 1x squared because we only have one blue square. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the green ones. So 4x. And then 1, 2, 3 plus 3. Okay. All righty. Give me a thumbs up or a check mark if you are understanding and good to go. Thumbs up, check mark. Cal, you okay? All right, awesome. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So slide 17. Go ahead, create the binomials on the top and the side, and then type your answer in the box. See how you do. Okay, you're doing good. All right, awesome. So 2x would be like this, and then plus 3. So we would need 1, 2, 3, like that. And then 3x along the side would be 1, 2, 3. Isn't that cool how it changes as you change the stuff? and then +1. So +1 right here. So your answer is all of this on the inside. Let's see how we're doing with that. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, cool. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6x squared plus, how many green ones do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hi there. So plus 11x and then plus 3. And go ahead and submit. Move on to slide 8 when you are ready.
So I was telling you about Nico.
Oh, yay. Thank you so much. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I want to keep him reading as you want to. No, that's awesome.
If anyone's looking for me, I'm going to pay my tax.
Okay, doke. Gotcha.
Are you recording?
I'm live and recording.
Oh.
It's all good though. No problem. It's all good. I'm always like talking and all kinds of stuff, so they're used to it.
Here.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's like school. There you go. All right, how are we doing? Go ahead and give me a thumbs up or a check mark if you're feeling pretty good about this. All righty. Oh, good. Awesome. So now I'm behind because I was chatting. That was Ms. Jenkins. She popped in real quick. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's the negatives we were wondering about. -1 and then x minus 4. So x, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, check that out. So I don't have like long green rectangles anymore. So that means that I have negative x's. When they're red like that, they're negative. So looks like the answer is 3x squared, which I saw as your responses. Now, I know they've got that plus sign right here. You don't have to type the plus sign if the answer is negative. Don't worry about that. So we've got only red X's like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So minus, which I saw that minus 13x on a lot of yours answers, which is cool. Now we have to figure out how many of these little orange ones there. We only have 4, so plus 4. Okay. Oh, mine plus 4 did not show up. Plus 4. There we go. Okay. So don't feel like you have to put that plus sign. If it's a negative x value, you can just put minus. Excellent. Go ahead and move to the next slide. And try this one. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Yep. All right, it's looking good. Jean Taylor, don't forget you don't have to put those plus signs in there, okay? Because like if you were to take a little quiz for me on Canvas and you put a plus minus next to each other, it's gonna mark it wrong because it's not gonna understand your answer. So if you have a negative term, don't put the plus sign in front of it. So let's see, 2x minus 5. So 2x minus 5. Minus 5. There we go. I didn't know if it would go that far. And then 4x plus 3. 4x is going to be way out here. Plus 3. Like that. 4x plus 3. Okay. All right, so look what happened with this one. We've got, so you got some negative and some positive X values, okay? So remember, in here is your answer. So we can do the X squared ones first because that's easy, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I see y'all have 8x squared. So very good. That's right. 8x squared. And then, so this is what we have to do here. We have to add everything up and combine. Like, now, for every negative X value, it can cancel with a positive X value, okay? So we have, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green ones. So that means I can cancel out 6 of the red ones with 6 green ones, because it would be like 6x and a negative 6x. So 6x minus 6x cancels out. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So any 6 red ones will cancel out with the 6 green. You're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 red ones are left over. So that means you're going to have minus 14x. Okay. And then you will have all these little red units are all negative numbers. So there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And it'll be minus 15 because there's 15 of them and they're all red. So the only thing that was a little tricky with this one was you had red and green X values. Now, if I would have typed it out, it would look like this. It would be, what it would, plus 6x, and then minus, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 10, 15, 20. There was 20 of those negative ones like this, and then minus 15. So if that makes more sense to you, you can type it out that way. You just have to remember to combine like terms. At the very end, combine like terms, and that's where you're going to get the negative 14x. Okay? But what I did here was I literally just counted everything I had. I had 8 blue squares, so that was 8x squared. I had 6 green rectangles, so I put plus 6x. I had 20 of those red rectangles, so minus 20x. And I had 15 of the little tiny unit squares, so minus 15. And hit submit. Okay. Alrighty, let's go to slide 20 and go ahead and try this one. Create the box and then write your answer. Okay, so 3x plus 1, 1, 2, 3, plus 1, like that. Oop, not like that. There you go. And then 3x plus 1, like that. There we go. That's a really big blue square. don't have like the inside. I wonder how many little blue squares, like if you need to, go back, because this would not be 1x squared, because that's gigantic. That blue is huge. So maybe go back to one that you looked at before. That's what size the blue ones should be. I went back to slide 19. So there's 1, 2, 3. How many little x squared should there be in there? And you guys should know this pretty well because we've already had to do this multiplication by hand. Okay, so you can't put 1x squared here because that's too big. That's too big of a blue circle for that. I'm sorry, blue square. So the internal lines were erased from this diagram. So we have to adjust our answer and think about how many blue squares would be in here if we had the internal lines. I wish I could draw on this, but I can't. So there would be 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's kind of hard to visualize, but this would be 9x squared in the front. And then these x's, the x's are only supposed to be this big. These x's are like way too long. So how many would fit? How many of these would fit here? 3 of them. And then there would be another 3 along the bottom, right? Because they're only supposed to be that long. So there would be 3 down here too. So 3 on this side and 3 on the bottom would be 6x plus 6x. And then this little itty bitty unit down here would be plus 1. Okay. That one was a hard one because you didn't have the little lines on the inside to separate everything. Okay, move to slide 21. Let's see if you can figure this one out. Try this one. Remember, the inside lines are not going to show up, so you have to figure out how many of the little squares will fit. Plus, you can think about what the answer would be by doing it by hand like we did last week. Oh my goodness, this one is a challenging one. I'm interested to see how you do with it. Nice job. We've all got the first term, 12x squared. Okay, good. This green part right here would be plus 16x. Very good. Now we've got some red ones down here that we'll have to take away. So minus, how many of the x terms would be down here? Let's see, you've got 3 by 3. So if you do negative 3 times positive 3, that's going to be minus or take away 9x, right? So we've done the blue so far, that's 12x squared. This part right here was the plus 16x. The red was minus 9x. And then since this is red down here, that's another minus. What would this be? This would be negative 3 times 4 to get this, which is negative 3 times 4 is not 16. We got to change that. Negative 3 times 4 is going to be minus 12. Okay, so you could simplify that. (16 minus 9 is 7. So this would be 7x minus 12. Okay. All right. Once you have that, hit submit and move to the next one. This slide just sends you to a link where you can try this on Delta Math. Let's see here. What happens when we do that? I don't know if I want to. Yeah, it does open in a new tab for me. Oh, okay. So this just asks you to do a multiplication problem, okay? Which is kind of cool. We can use the Desmos activity if you want to. If you go back to the Desmos activity and move to the very last slide, which is actually slide 24. You can do the Delta Math problem on this blank activity slide in Desmos, okay? So let me show you the Delta Math. If you clicked on Delta Math, a totally different problem may have come up on your screen. That's fine. This is just a practice. And it's kind of cool that they just give you like a random problem to make sure that you understand what you're doing. So just do whatever that problem asks you to do. Mine is 2x plus 9 and 3x minus 5. So 2x, I wonder if I can get 9 on here. 2x plus, oh, I can't go past 5. That stinks. New problem. Everything has big numbers. There we go. We can do this one. All right, so I'm changing my problem because my Desmos worksheet won't do anything past 5 for me. So x minus 4, 2x minus 5. So x minus 4. I got to put this way over on the other side. Minus 4. And then 2x minus 5. 2x minus 5. All right. Okay, cool. So here are the binomials, and Desmos is programmed to put the plus sign in there. Don't put plus signs if you have negative answers, like just put the minus sign in Canvas. And when you do like any of your math homework and any homework for any future math teacher, just put a minus sign there. Don't put plus and then a minus, because that's kind of crazy looking. And then it gives you the answer, which is 2x squared minus 13x plus 20. Okay. Okay, so that pretty much, that wraps up today's lesson, you guys. For homework tonight, you have a sheet. Let me pull that up for you. You're not going to need Desmos for this sheet because this is just combining like terms. And it looks like this. Okay, so we're not multiplying in this sheet, but we are just combining like terms. So this white square is an x squared. This is a regular, actually, that's going to be a XY. And I thought that was going to be units. I don't know why they're saying that that's y squared. I think I'm going to modify that. So let's just, I'm going to open this with Cami, and I'm going to change the directions a little bit. Okay. Oh, wait, I just saw it. Here it is. Okay, so I'm modifying the directions for this, and I will put this on Canvas as well. So in here, I don't want that to be XY because that, I don't know, that does not seem to make sense to me. So this is just going to be an X. So just X, that's a really big X. Let's just make that a little smaller. And then this little unit right here, that's just going to be 1. So if you have a shaded square or rectangle or unit, then that's going to represent negative. All right. So that's going to be a negative X squared. Over here, you're going to write what it all combines to. So you're just practicing writing out what these polynomials would look like in a mathematical expression. So this would be negative X squared. And then you've got 2 of these, so plus 2x. You could probably type this in a text box a whole lot nicer, but either way. And then these little ones would be plus 2, okay? So if it's shaded, then it's going to be negative. Let me get rid of that. I'll make a text box. Okay, so you'll do that for all of these. And then on the second page, you'll do the same thing. So this is still x squared. This is not going to be xy. That is just going to be an x. And this is just going to be a 1. Okay? And if they're shaded, then they're negative. Alrighty. And that's it for today. Submit a screenshot of your last slide or of, yeah, that's fine. Submit a screenshot of slide 24 with something worked out onto Canvas for credit for today's Desmos lesson, and then try these problems on the sheets and submit those to Canvas for today's assignment. And that's all we've got. Thanks for being patient while I make these changes to the assignment. Don't hesitate to send me a message if you get stuck on something. I'm gonna stop the recording and you are all set for today. Have a great day, everybody. Let me know if you get stuck on anything.